Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Settlemyre and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer, Riley Cote, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back. What's happening, Nasty?
What's up, Regarelia? What are you doing there in the old shrine?
You know,
I love that. I love that place. Yeah, I love it.
Like that guy right there?
I do. Oh,
Yeah.
he was crazy. My favorite. That's my favorite picture,
A
actually.
little different animal back then.
Yep. We're going to bring it back out of you, though. I'm going to get you going again.
Yeah, I can do that.
BKFC, Ice Wars,
Yeah.
man. I think you got to make a comeback.
You think
You're
so?
You're long and lean. You're in your weight class. You would shit kick people. It wouldn't even be close.
What weight class would that be? Welterweight?
Well, whatever 164 is. No,
Skin
you're
and
a little
bones?
You're a little more than that. But could you imagine, like, at your weight now? If you fought your weight, you'd probably do all right. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I was consistently fighting guys my size, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, I mean, at this point in time, because you, like I always would say, you are always fighting those absolute mutants, but I feel like your arms are a little longer than, like maybe you're not short by any means, but like for your height, I feel like your arms kind of helped because I always thought they were a little longer than the average bear. But I can imagine. What are you weighing? 180 right now?
A solid 180.
A solid 180.
Soaking wet.
If you fought a guy 180, BKFC Ice Wars, boy.
It'd be interesting. I don't think I've ever fought anybody 180 pounds.
I was going to say, yeah, you're not used to that. You're used to fighting well, you can fight a guy 250 if you want to go back to that shit, but I don't think you do. Yeah, man. Great weekend last week. Checking for charity, big tournament. Unfortunately, we didn't put a team in this year, but I did play in the old men's league. Had a blast. Dave Rockhill put a team together. The Junkyard was supposed to play. Ended up with did something to calf tear. I can't remember exactly.
No way.
I swear to God, it was something like that because I'll send Baller the picture, but he sends me this picture of his foot, and his looked like he had zero circulation going on. Well, it ended up he goes to the hospital. He calls me. He's in the emergency room, and he's like, I'm like, dude, you don't have to doctor a picture up just to bail on us and, busted his chops. He's like, no, I swear, man, I'm in here right now. And you know how hyper he is. He's like, I'm in here right now. I've got to find out what's going on. So he was in a walking boot. He actually came to little Jimmy, his son, was playing. And he came to one of the games, and someone said he had a walking boot on, and I knew it was a legit injury. He actually sent me a picture the other night. It still doesn't look great, but I said, "Hey, man, I thought it was your left foot. That boot was on your right foot." Just messing with him, but he wasn't able to play. And but anyway, it was a great weekend. We had a lot of fun. We lost to the Bauer Brew again. Obviously, good friends of mine. Those guys I've filled in and played with them in this tournament before. And but it was great because one of my good buddies and a huge fan of Nasty Knuckles, our show, Eddie Hoffman, was diagnosed in mid-March, unfortunately, with stage 4 colon cancer, and it snuck into his liver a little bit. But he's doing great. The boys played for him as Eddie Strong. May not be able to see
awesome.
it, but we'll put that up. And like when Eddie reached out to me, back in March, telling me, man, I obviously floored, but he said it's just another game for me to win, man. And he's doing great. His brother Billy, they made all these shirts and hats and everything, and it's just great to see him doing better. Like he's fighting hard and he's doing well, and he's actually planning on going fans of Philly with us out west. He's signed up for that. So just want to give Eddie a shout out. Eddie Strong, man. And we're all praying and, hoping he's going to be great, which I think he will. So just wanted to mention that. And those dickheads beat us in the finals, and they mopped us up. And Hedgehog let me give you some props. The guy was unbelievable all weekend. He let one goal in all weekend, Hedge, who was filling in for Eddie. Obviously, Eddie's a goalie. I failed to mention that. And Eddie used to bring these CDs, mixes of like, I don't know if it was rap, but it was like Russian music for Bob Probert. That's his guy. Bob's his guy. He actually has his pads. He buys his pads like, after so he's a huge, huge fan of our show, and just a big hockey guy and a great human. So just wanted to give him a quick shout out there.
There you go, Eddie. We appreciate you.
Yep, for sure.
Now, did you play on two teams and you're draining the pins? You couldn't perform or what?
I did not. I played on the one. We only played. I guess we played 4 games, but yeah, I was very ineffective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do much.
Coasting out there. You weren't.
I was trying. They got a good team, man. We're gonna come back next year stronger. You're almost at that age where you can have 2 that are like 45 and under 50, but you got to be older than 45, I think.
All right.
Because we had Vince Williams, couldn't find him. So milk carton told me, that I couldn't find him. Foxy's worried about a wedding anniversary. I don't know what's so great about that. So, or it's either that or
he wants to stay married.
Yeah. No, but Foxy wasn't able to play. And anyway, we just, but they beat us. They mopped us up in the championship game, and they deserved it. They were a better team. So we had a blast though. It was fun.
Yeah. Always a good tournament.
Yeah, sure is.
Do it upright.
Speaking of tournaments or camps, it was a good time yesterday going over to the Flyers Alumni Fantasy Camp, seeing a lot of familiar faces.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, you mentioned it. A lot of familiar faces, both alumni and attendees of the fantasy weekend, which a lot of them keep coming back, including our friend Lupo.
Yep.
Lupo Dion, awesome dude. Watched him on the back end there yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, mucking it up in front of the net.
Him and my boy Ronnie Quinn just going at it. I'm like,
man, I thought it was going to be fisticuffs there.
Oh, they might as well drop them. They both have half shields on. They could have chucked the Nucks a little bit. They're not kicking them out for it.
That's right.
Not at a Flyers alumni event.
No chance. But it was good to see everybody. I mean, just the event itself. Brad Marsh, Rob Bear. I think the Hound. Probably the original guys starting the fantasy camp. I'm not even sure how many years ago now. It's been maybe 12. But a heck of a job. I think your dad's probably been doing it since the start. But just like lifelong Flyer fans get an opportunity to spend a little money, come into town for the weekend and play hockey for some of their favorite Flyers. Danny Briere, Keith Jones, Bill Clement. Who else is out there? Mark Recchi, John Leclerc,
Patrick Sharp.
Missing a couple probably, but those are the coaches of the teams, and just do a heck of a job.
Joe Watson.
Joe Watson was there, of course. Yeah.
It's good to see those guys, man. Got to chat with Sharpie a little bit. Well, we chatted with everyone. Got a couple chuckles out of him. Then he went for a little nap. Need
a little nap for game 2. Yeah.
Right, Riley, you lost your keys. You lost everything there. I'd never seen you so rattled in my life.
Well, yes. My 2 bags are open, 1 bag inside the other bag, and both are unzipped. Just shit everywhere.
You usually are. That's me, the guy losing.
I know.
Shit, not
I was feeling like that. I was like, man, I've seen this before.
Is this how Nasty feels? He's looking for shit. Yeah, it's me. Oh man.
But
I said to my dad, I was sitting with Dad, and I was like, he's like, what can he have done with it? I said, I don't know, but I'm just happy it wasn't me this time. But I got it now. I'm getting anxious because he looks like anxiety's jumping into his brain right now.
Yeah. You had your feet up eating the popcorn and watching me run around.
I didn't have any popcorn, but you did go up and down the steps a few times. I got confused when you came flying back down the steps after you said, hey, Das, I'll talk to you later. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, you come flying down the steps. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that was dilemma number 2. That was not being able to find the key fob.
Right.
So
that's great.
Naturally, bring me back. But anyways, it was a good time.
Yep.
Love stopping by and seeing these guys. It's just they do such a good job, and just see and talk with some of the fans, the guys that participate in it, and and just hearing from them how much the Flyers and the organization, the alumni mean to them, and why they spend a lot of money, keep coming back every year. It's a real thing. They love it. So heck of a job. Always nice to see familiar faces and
for sure, man.
Shit a little bit, chop it up.
Yeah, they do, like you said. They do an unbelievable job, and they make these guys. They have Sudsy and Turk and all these guys. The equipment, Joey Rivera, and I know I'm missing guys. I apologize, but they treat them like they're in the show. They have the room set up. They had great uniforms. They went old school with the American League teams, Maine Mariners, the Quebec Aces, the Phantoms. I guess it was Philadelphia Phantoms, the old school unis. And what am I missing? Oh,
Richmond Robins,
Richmond
right?
Robins, man. That I thought that was a great touch. Something different, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't expect that one.
Yeah,
it threw me off actually a little bit. I was trying to figure out what it was. And then...
yeah, well, you see green, you forget about it. I knew what it was because when I was with the Phantoms, we actually wore the throwback Quebec Aces jersey one night.
Okay.
I actually have one at PJ Stock. I think it's the one. PJ Stock was never mind. He was the
Phantoms one, right?
He was a Christmas one, yeah. But I do have a Quebec Aces one that we had. It's really cool.
Yeah. It was nice to see those jerseys. Definitely got me got me thinking out of the gate. Obviously the Phantoms ones, but then they're just trying to figure out what the Richmond Robin ones was. But also nice to see the Warriors guys.
Yes.
All those guys either mucking it up or helping out. They're always in and around and bringing their energy. So always love to see those guys too.
Yeah, Colby too. I forgot to mention him with the equipment guys. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Not much. Just walking." I said, "Well, around. Nothing's changed."
Yeah.
But Ronnie Moore came down with Quinter, from up in Danbury there. So those guys, they drive down to get their skates done by me. I don't know if they just like hanging around because I'm an idiot or they like the way I sharpen their skates, but it's good to see them.
Probably a little both, Nass.
Yeah, a little both. But yeah, great. They finish up today. So I don't know who won yet, but we'll find out.
We'll get the text. We'll have to post it. Post the winner.
There you go.
Are you ready to rock, Nast?
Buddy, I'm pumped for this one.
I'm pumped too. Episode 207. Their good friend Dennis Bonvie. Bones,
Bonsai, whatever you want to call him.
What do you call it? What did you call him?
Bones. I always called him Bones.
Bone doctor.
The bone doctor, yeah. The bone doctor, Bonsai, Bones, whatever you want.
1,000 nicknames. Yeah, exactly.
Does,
Episode 207. Let's go. Welcome back. I'm Riley Cote.
And I'm Derek Settlemyre. Riggs.
We got him.
I used to always say this. Can you smell it? My guy. So excited today to have on currently the head of pro scouting for the Boston Bruins. This gentleman went undrafted and appeared in 92 NHL games with 6 different teams. The biggest thing, it's everyone talked about Wayne Gretzky. It might get broken, it might not. Ovi ends up breaking it. This man's record will never be broken. I don't care what. I'll put every dime I have on it. The all-time leading penalty minutes leader in pro hockey. In the American Hockey League, where he is a Hall of Famer, by the way, 4,493 minutes in 871 regular season games. Just an absolute legend. One of the biggest warriors we've ever seen in hockey. One of my favorite people, Mr. Dennis Bonvie. Bones, I can smell it, dog. The bone doctor, Bonsai, whatever you want to call him. He's the man. What's up,
miss
brother?
You guys. Listen, D, I really appreciate that. You were the best when I had you in Philly. No doubt. Coach, I didn't play with you. We scrapped a couple times at a couple ones, but there's no more respect I have for you and what you did and how you did it. And I think you can say that when you do your job and you do it the best of your ability, all you want is respect, right? That's all I was looking for. I was trying to prove like I belonged, take care of my teammates, respect, hopefully I went about it the right way and did it to the best of my ability. That's all.
Wow. You did it well,
sure did.
Man. And you know that. You did it well.
Yeah, much respect. I mean, you were, I look back, Nasty and I kind of shoot the shit all the time and laugh about it, but you were the one guy I remember just being the absolute most gamer. Like it was like if we're playing you, there's no questions asked. Like there was going to be some. There was going to be some fisticuffs, I'm sure. Probably a pregame chat or two as well.
I always said was I took my job too serious, if you know what I mean. I'm like, I took it personal. Every time somebody ran somebody, you can't do that. And they're trying to show me up and show my team up. And I'm like, it probably wasn't like that. But as a result, you end up getting in a fight. You're getting in a whatever foolishness. But, there's only at the end of the day, I think, Coach, you can say that. Derek, you've been around a long time. You lived it with the toughest. And I'm like, there's only a couple guys you're kind of like, but everybody else you respect, you love, you understand what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it. And that's the biggest thing, right? There's probably a couple where, I might have fight them 8 or 10 times. I probably would have did 20, you know what I mean? But just because. But most guys are really good and they're good what they do. And they're good people. They're just trying to be on the team and prove they belong and prove they're a good teammate.
Yeah, we talk about you so much. We've had guys on that bring you up, that played with you, that went against you, and I have so much respect for you. But once I had you in Philly, I wish that I had you longer. Yeah. But once I had you, we hit it off right away, and we were buds, and so every time you were playing, against us, you always come down before the game. You had your coffee, and we'd stand out in the hall and shoot the shit, and I'd be like, Bones, what happened last night? You got your hands up. They're just mangled. And I'm just like, dude, take it easy. Yeah, I can't. I had 3 last night. I got to take it easy night. Right off the hop, fucking gloves gone. Just going. Now, you used to love it. I'd come back in the room and like, get ready. Bones is going to go because he just told me he's probably going to, take her easy tonight. But like you said, man, you were there for your teammates and, probably there were a lot of nights you needed some rest for your hands, your head, and everything else, but you were always there for your teammates. But
I always tell the story about down the spectrum. I love playing in the spectrum. Not like all the guys did. You got to have a little bit of kahunas and some confidence, but I love going in the spectrum. And it was just me and Wilkes-Barre, and we were driving down. It was like we just got eliminated from playoffs. Lassard went kind of crazy in our building with like a minute left in the game. He beat up a few guys, and I was telling the coach to put me up before that, and he wouldn't. He said, let's see how much, gumption and toughness we have. I'm like, we have nobody. So things happen, and then 2 weeks later, I'm going down the turnpike, and you could cut the tension with a knife in our butt. Nobody was sleeping, and I'm just looking out laughing. I'm like, this should be a good one because we were great. Things get out of hand, things get ugly, right? So we're in warm-up just before warm-up, and nobody's saying a word, and it's quiet. And you guys, you got Coates, and you got Fedoric, and you got Lassard, and you got McLaren, and you got Boleris, and you got Francis Belanger, and Chris Albert, and Sean O'Brien, and Ryan.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, and I think I missed somebody. Anyway, VandenBussche might have been there, and just me. So I said, boys, I'll take care of this. Just relax. We'll get through this. We'll be fine, and we'll compete, and we'll end up winning this game. They're looking at me like, how is that going to happen? So I went out and warm up, and you're all yelling like, if things go south, you watch, you got nobody, it's just you. I'm like, yeah, that's right. You're probably right. No doubt. So I went in after warm up. I'll take care of this. We'll go out, and with 17-minute mark, and obviously Billy was your coach, right? And Billy loved that.
Yeah.
So I'm on the right bench is right behind me, and I think I'm beside maybe Bolery. Somebody was up beside. And I said, just wait a second. And you're all yipping on the bench. And it's like, guys, I got 2 fights in me. I said, I want them over by the middle of the second. Best of luck to all you guys. Let's get it done.
Let's go.
So my point was, if the focus was on me, then everybody else, we could just play the game, right? So I think I fought somebody then. I kind of waited. I paced myself for about a period, and I fought again just to kind of – and then we ended up – I think we hung in there. Maybe one tied the game, whatever, but we got through it. Everybody was okay. And I'm like, okay, guys, we can't do that every night. That's a lot.
That's awesome. I remember we had Ryan the year of the lockout. Ryan Reddy was with us, and he had played, I believe, Riles, didn't he play in Cincy the year before or something? And anyway, he was, I think that's where it was. And so his buddy was, I think, the captain, and I should remember who it was. I usually do, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he says that he's telling Izzy, Ryan Reddy, the story the next day before the game. They're, in the hallway kind of talking to each other, and he says, we pull in, it's like 2 a.m., and it looks like there's blood on the walls of the Spectrum. You know how you came down the ramp and it's dark and you're carrying your bags up. So he says to the boys after warm-ups, hey, it's Sunday, it's 3-3. Let's just play hockey and get the fuck out of here, right?
Yeah.
So first shift, someone runs one of our D lanes. I think John Slaney gets ran. Here comes Gratz, fucking, and I guess we were up 3-0 after one, and the captain comes in and just pushes the coolers over. He goes, "You idiots!" But the Spectrum had that aura, and like you said, we always had tough teams in Philly, especially with the Phantoms. Even the year we got you was awesome, but we had Stone Cold, even Big Sexy Dan Kordick was with us for a bit. 100%. So it's funny, the years I was with the Phantoms, I can't tell you how many times an equipment guy to be like, dude, our guys are scared shitless in there.
It happens all the time.
And
I used to look behind me. I'd look behind me. I'm like, you'd look, you guys are trying to tiptoe into the Spectrum and tiptoe out. I'm like, that don't work. That's not working. You're either all in or you're all out.
That's right. So true.
Riles and I asked this question a lot because obviously Riles is, in my opinion, one of the best at it and did it a lot. But like for you, like you just said, you're taking that drive up. Like you basically know every night you're protecting these guys. And there's probably times where, Bones, you wouldn't have had to. But I think, like you said, I enjoyed it too much. But did you have trouble napping? Did you have trouble the night before? Or were you just like, hey, this is what it is?
I know. I said a couple times in pregame meal and stuff for whoever it is on the other team. And I said, said to somebody, I said, how's he going to sleep tonight? Whoever maybe my dicks. How's he? Not very good, Bones. And I said, how am I going to sleep? Like a baby.
I don't know how you guys can do it, man. I really don't.
I don't know why. I was fortunate enough. I didn't really bother me. Even at the end, I had young kids, and I was still going to the rink on one leg. And it didn't bother me, I guess, because I knew what I was doing. I knew I could always survive and tie up and hold in. And I really changed my style at the end to try to, halfway through, because that's the only way I could survive. You can't keep pounding and pounding and pounding. So, I think I was smart enough to know that I could tie up. I could, somehow, not that I'm smart. That's not fair, but, I boxed for a while and I knew how to handle myself at the end of the day.
Right. Well,
a coach could say the
same.
You did.
100%. Yeah. You were wise.
You have to fight smart because you're not going to survive. Someone's going to get you. They're going to get you. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, no doubt. How many of those 3-3s on the Sunday where you're rolling in, maybe actually thinking you might have a night off or not totally feeling it, and you still land up fighting at least once, not twice?
I was in I signed in Boston, and I was after Wilkes-Barre. I was kind of chip my shoulder because I had a broken hand my whole year before, and I said I didn't want to fight no more. And I'm like, I don't want to fight. I'll fight anybody. It doesn't bother me. So I went in, and I think I had the end of January, I might have 30, 35 fights. I was scrapping everybody and playing a lot and in Providence, and I got called up. And it was one of those, I had finished Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Providence, and I'd fought every game. And then I got called up on a Monday and fought, and I got Tuesday off, and Wednesday I did it again, and then maybe again. So it was 7 games in 9 nights, and I had fought 8 times.
Oh my God.
It was one of the, and I was like, man, I'm kind of worn out right now. And because that's what I had to do. It was, I had to do it for my guys down below, and I certainly had to do it when I was up to prove I could stay up. So listen, I'm not complaining. I'm not trying to act like that's what I signed up for, in my opinion. Right. Coach can say the same thing. That's what I signed up for. So I'm going to do the best of my ability. That's what I'm going to do.
That's something you guys signed up for without signing a waiver. But you knew what you were doing, right?
I'm not going to complain to anybody that I got this. Everything's good. I'm lucky. I got a beautiful wife, which is the biggest blessing I got. I got 2 wonderful kids who are 20 and 18, and I've got a wonderful supporting cast for family. But I was married before I was 23, and that was the biggest blessing for me. She was always with me. I didn't really worry about. After hockey, I'd be by myself, right? I would go have supper with her, talk to her and just kind of forget about what happened. And I think that's the biggest thing. I didn't get so consumed by it.
Right.
Where a lot of guys did, and they're by themselves. And if it doesn't go good and then it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, you're out at night, things get messy, right? I was, for the most part, pretty good because she was with me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you were maybe wrapping up a story there too. You fought like eight or 9 times in 9 games. And were you going with like a 3-3 in the minors or something like that?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Wednesday was in Providence, and obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because you used to play 4 and 5, right, in the American Hockey League. And then they're like, hey, on Sunday night you got called up to Boston for a Monday game. I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. I'm kind of worn out and skinned up there, but we can do it. Got called up. So we didn't play on Tuesday, maybe traveled somewhere, played on Wednesday, and then they sent me back down for a game on Friday. So there was like 3 days off between 9 days. So it was like 6 games and 9 nights and fought in all of them or something like that. It was something crazy. And I was like, whew, that was a pretty good run.
That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But that's what happens when you're up and down, right? And I listen, I wish I had got through the front door in the National Hockey League and got situated, but I had really good runs in certain spots. And but that's what I wanted to do. And I played every game to the last 15 years of my career. Like I want to get another game in the National Hockey League. That's what I played for.
You sure did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, man. I mean, even till right to the end that I can remember, man, like there was every time we play you, like it seemed like you mentally prepared for that exact thing. Like there was, you get older. Some guys like I don't want to mention names, but there's some guys that maybe get a little too comfortable. Now they're just like spot picking. They don't really want to do it. They're kind of just like broing it up the whole time. That was never the case with you. Probably till the day you retire.
I made a pact with myself looking in the mirror. I said, I always going to be able to smile and be happy with what I did. And I'm like, I'm not going to, I signed American League the last 3 years, but I'm like, I still had hope to get up. I still hope somebody was going to give me a shot. And I get that the odds were I wasn't and I didn't, but I went to the coach and said, listen, I'm going to do this and I'm looking for an opportunity. I'll do it to the best of my ability. If I don't get it, I don't get it, but I'm going to push it as hard as I can and I'll make sure my guys are protected. And that was my job. I had to do that. And if I didn't, they would go get somebody else. And I didn't really want that.
That's true. That's true.
And I told that to a lot of guys I played with. I get where I was at 26, 27, 28 in my career. I get it. I knew where I was at. I'd love to say I was, got screwed. I should have played somewhere. I should have got an opportunity, maybe. But for the most part, I was pretty lucky playing pro hockey and getting an opportunity to go and ply my trade and enjoy the game and play with some really good guys for a lot of years. So when I got there at that age at 27, and I had Gratz and I had all different guys with me. They were heading for bigger things, but I could either get ticked off at that or I could support them and be the best leader I could be. And I made the decision to go with support and be the best leader I could be because the other one really wasn't an option. It really wasn't.
Well, Riggs, that's a perfect segue for you there with what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, well, we were going to bring this up anyways, but we had Brian McGrattan on, I guess a few months ago. But he spent a good amount of time really praising you and attributing his success to your mentorship and just like how you kind of coached him or just supported him, I guess, right? I think he was going through some hard times too personally at the time and just the way you were with him. I
tried to when he first started, and I think he'll admit that. And I don't want to first 4 just didn't go well for Gratz. They weren't great, So I sat and talked to him and I said, do you really want to do this? He goes, I really do. I said, well, then let's get better at it. Let's protect the love button, I call it. And let's make sure we play smart and we do it the right way and get some confidence in yourself. So that if you're going to do it, let's do it to the maximum of your ability. So I did that. And I'm not being smart. I would go through the lineup and I'd say, well, look, don't go near these two because these guys, let's go. You take these guys. I got these guys and I'll make sure that, and I did that with a lot of guys I played with that, I guess they were the tougher ones. They were the most experienced guys. So I'll take care of those guys. You just, here's your guys right here and make sure we continue to gain confidence and we'll get this done and we'll have some fun doing it. So, and I continue to work with him. He had some issues obviously off the ice and we tried to help him with that. And you know what? The bottom line, he's a terrific human being. Brian's a great fellow. He's a great man. And I love him for it. And, I'd do the same all over again, trying to help out because I'd hope that somebody would try to do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he was so grateful and he spent a good time really just praising you and for a lot of different reasons, but obviously your support through your time in bingo there and just how you coached them and helped them.
Yeah, but coach, you can say that. That's all about just being a good teammate and a good person. That's all you're trying to do, like it is what it is. like I said, I could go one way or the other, and the odd person goes the other way, and it doesn't end out right, because you kind of get eliminated, right? You just get
for sure,
out, or you can be the good person, and as great and big hockey is, it's a small world, right? People talk, and people, you want good people around you, and that's. And my mom and dad taught me to be a good person, and you can say the same thing, and Dee can say the same thing. So just be a good person. That's all.
You may have heard of HelloFresh. Nast, I know you have.
Oh, yes, I have.
They send chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients to your home. But this summer, they made their biggest menu upgrade yet. This isn't HelloFresh you remember.
Well, I'll tell you what it is, Riggs. It's bigger. The menu has actually doubled, which blows my mind away because I thought it was great before. It's even better now. You can choose from up to 100 options each week, dude, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. Dig into bigger portions that'll keep everyone satisfied, and it makes me look like a real chef.
That's right, Nast. Feel great with even a healthier menu filled with high protein and veggie-packed recipes. HelloFresh now helps you eat greener with new veggie-packed recipes that have 2 or more veggies. You love the veggies, Nast.
I do love my veggies, but I'll tell you what else I really like is steak. You can get steak and seafood recipes delivered every week for no extra cost. There's 3 times more seafood on the menu now, if that's your thing, at no extra cost. Discover new seasonal produce each week, from snap peas to stone fruit to corn on the cob and much more, Riggs.
That's right, Nast. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/NastyKnuckles10FM now to get 10 free meals, plus a free item for life. 1 box per active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/NastyKnuckles FM10 to get 10 free meals, plus a free item for life.
That's right, Riley. We use this, and you should too. I was saying to Riles, the first time, so I was in Florida my first year, and then I was with the Flyers for 2, and then we started the Phantoms, 96, 97. That was my first encounter with the bone doctor, who I didn't know at the time. Yeah. But I this is the God's honest truth. I remember Kate Britton moved to Hamilton, obviously.
Yes.
And we go into Hamilton. I think it was I want to say it might have been our first game of the year.
Yeah.
In Hamilton. That was for the Phantoms. So we obviously bust up. And anyway, this number 4 is just buzzing around, like just creating havoc. And I'm dead serious. I'm talking about physicality, but chances. Like, you might have scored that. I don't know, but you are all over the place. And I just remember, there's player, and that's what you were trying to do. That was your job. You're trying to get noticed like everyone and get to that next step. But I've told this to Riles, and we were talking about it again today. I was just like, who is this guy? I want him on my damn team. Yeah. Like, it just the way you were playing and everything, and leading into that, within the next year, you got called up, within your second year, I guess, in Edmonton. And we were dying laughing before we got you on, because I said, you imagine Bones, he plays 2 games, he doesn't get any PIMs. He must have been losing his mind. Like, get me out there. Like, I need
you want me to tell you about that? I'll tell you about that.
Tell us.
Well, I don't know why the years didn't, like the end of the year didn't line up. So the American League had finished, and there was like 2 to 3 weeks left in the National Hockey League. So I was one of 5 to get recalled to the Edmonton Oilers from Cape Breton. So I went like 4 warm-ups in a row, maybe 5, and I wasn't playing, so I didn't think I'm playing. Going to warm up, cruising around. We're going to play the LA Kings that night. I'm not playing. So I come in after warm-up. I'm starting to get stuff off. Ronnie Lowe comes in. He goes, "Hey, kid." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You're in tonight. Jason Arnett's sick." I'm like, I'm in the National League. And they look at me, I'm like, and they're laughing. I'm like, okay, I'll be ready to go. And I got my gear on. I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready. So maybe it was a blessing. It wasn't a lot of time to prepare. I'm ready to go. Right. So we're playing LA, and obviously Barry Melrose, the coach, Wayne Gretzky's there, and Matt Johnson's there. Him and I scrapped twice a game in junior, every game. So I come out and I said, okay, this will be good. Well, like I know Johnny, so I go in the draw and I go, Matt, I said, let's go. He goes, I can't. Barry said, the coach said no. And I look over and Barry's like, no. I said, are you serious? I said, we're not going to. He goes, no, we're not doing this. So he was in neutral zone, goes back, defense pass, defense gets a red line, dumps it in. We go in on the forecheck. So I go in the forecheck and I got the puck and I go to cycle and I look beside me. It's Wayne Gretzky. They took the fourth line, put the first line out. And I go, jumped in. I'm like, that's Wayne Gretzky. And I go right off the ice. And they're like, Dennis. I'm like, no, I'm not. I should be out here against Matt Johnson, not Wayne Gretzky. That's right. And then I go, so they laugh, and a few shifts, and it was pretty quiet. And then the next game was 2 nights later. I think it was in Calgary, and I dressed, and I think Longtime made it screwed up the lineup chart or something. So I'm ready to go out, warm up. I think actually Chief or maybe Alan May, they're both playing at the time in Calgary. I forget. And Longtime comes up before the game. He goes on the bench. He goes, I think I screwed the lineup up with your name, right? Didn't put you on the list, so. I got credit for the game, but I didn't play.
So, no way.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, so year's over. We're done. Go home, train hard. So that's why there was no penalty minutes.
Okay.
That's why I was telling you there was no penalty minutes. I was trying.
That's what I said to Riggs.
We knew something was up.
Like, someone give me a shot here.
100%.
Oh, man, that's great.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. Walk us through your first couple fights there. I think what your first NHL preseason fight was against Bob Probert. Is that right?
Yeah, that was God rest his soul. I played with Probert after. He was the best, man. He was so good to me. But I grew up in a small. I grew up in a small town, Frankville, Nova Scotia. It's like 75 people. Like it's half hour outside of Antigonish, Nova Scotia, and I'm in there and. People probably think I'm crazy, and I'm in the shed and I'm hitting the heavy bag. That's what I did, and I boxed for a while, and I training, and I'm ready to go. And I read the hockey news that Edmonton Oilers are playing Chicago Blackhawks in preseason game. So my dad, and I'm on that training at 4, and my dad comes home at 4:30 and goes, "Hey, how you doing? So you're training, get ready to go?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, we're playing the Chicago Blackhawks, Dad." I said, "If I'm in that game, I'm going to fight Bob Probert." And he looked at me, he goes, "What are you talking about?" He walks in the house, and I'm like, "What?" So I train. I got another few weeks left. I train. I go into camp, and I have a decent camp, doing what I'm doing. And then a good friend of mine, Jason Fitzsimmons, who's now at Washington. We're in the cab going to the game, and he looks at me and he goes, Bob Probert's playing us. Yeah. Are you going to fight him? I'm like, absolutely. He goes, really? I'm like, yep. So I go out on the draw, and it actually says in their book, it kind of got screwed up. It said Scott Parker said it, but I go, you're either, I said, hey, Proby. He said, what's up? I said, you're either going to make me or break me. I said, you'll either see me another shift or I'll be done. It's up to you, but we're going. He goes, really? I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going. So we had a good scrap, and then we actually fought a week later in Edmonton, and then I ended up eventually playing with him about a few months later. They picked me up on waivers, and I played with him, and he was the best. Wow. He was so good to me. He taught me a lot of things. Wow. He was a great man. Great man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's how I had a pretty good run there in exhibition, and then I was there for a month, 2 months, and we were kind of struggling. I got sent down, and then maybe recalled a couple more times after that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Riggs,
your first regular season was with. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say your first regular season was Stu Grimson.
Yeah, right? I'm glad you're bringing them up because I forget. I don't forget the fight, but I forget when they happened. Yeah, so I fought. I was in Edmonton, and there was a little buzz, like who's the new guy in town? He's fearless. He's going to do his thing. So we're playing against Detroit, and I go out in the draw, and I go, I'll never forget this. I go, Grimmer, we're going to go. He goes, okay, Dennis. And I'm like, oh, my God. Nobody
calls me Dennis.
Except for my mother when she's mad at me. I'm like, this is not good.
This is not good.
So I squared off, and I'm like, and he's big. He's a big man. Great fella, Grimmer. And and Randy Mitten would always try to break up fights. I don't know why. So he tries to get between us. So Grimmer's like reaching around, and I'm like all exuberant as a young kid. Like, we got to go. We got to go. He grabs me and hits me with about 3 in the side of the head. I'm like, youch. They just killed. I'm like, oh. So then Randy got out of the way, and I hit him with a couple pretty good ones. He had a pretty good noogie on his head, and we kind of tied up, and that's how it happened. But I took 3 or 4 unnecessary ones on the side for no reason, just because of my exuberance, I think,
Yeah, for no apparent reason.
No, I think you love to eat them early.
Yeah,
yeah.
Get them tired out.
Oh man,
it didn't work that good though, Coach.
Exactly.
Oh boy, yeah. I was gonna. I wanted to kind of bring up like you were like everywhere you played, Bones. You were. I mean, you're like the guy, like in the building. You're obviously the fan favorite. But like your time in Scranton, I know you've stayed there. Obviously, the ties you have there are amazing. But man, like they call that place the house that Dennis Bonvie built there, the arena, and the buzz that was there, even when they first came there, and I know you were there. I mean, that building was almost packed in warm-ups. Like, and in that first year, you guys weren't the greatest team, but you worked your asses off.
We were like the bad news bears.
Yeah, that's what you used to say. That's what you used to say. But I'll tell you what, man, that place was electric, and it was to me, being in American League, that place and the Spectrum one, because we sold the Spectrum out quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
But being there, obviously a little smaller than the Spectrum, but it was like the closest to me to National Hockey League. Just with the crowd, the way the games are played, it was so much fun. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about your time there, because you're such an important player, person in the community, just all the things there,
I appreciate it. I'm going to go back. I'll go back I'll get to it in a second. I'm going to go back to junior. And I know Coach can talk about this when he was in junior, but I went there, got drafted to Kitchener in the 19th round, 277th overall. I think the janitor actually threw my name out because nobody was left in the building. And they called me, said I got drafted. I went there my first year. I didn't make it, fought everybody, came back, played junior A. And then the next year I went back to Kitchener, played like 2 games in a month and a half, played against North Bay on a Saturday night, challenged their bench because I'm like, I got to do something. I'm like, are they going to send me home? And they had nobody, and they were in the middle of like a big deal. Bert was, God rest his soul, was talking to Joe McDonnell. And the next morning, I'm sure they did the deal that night. The next morning he called me, he said, you got traded to North Bay. I'm like, really? Yeah, you're gonna go up with Jack Williams, a guy, and you get traded with him. So I called my dad, and my dad goes, I said, I got traded to North Bay. He goes, why don't you just come home, Dennis? What are you doing? Where are you going? I said, no, I'm going to go up to North Bay. It's like 4 hours north with a buddy, and I'll call you in a couple days. He said, okay. So I went up, and I met with the coach and Bert Templeton, God rest his soul. I said, yeah, and I go, he said, you don't come but high credentials, kid. The last coach said you struggle to play, but I like tough Maritimers, and you fit the bill. I said, well, I'm going to make you a deal. He goes, you're going to make me a deal. I said, yeah, I'll make you a deal. I said, if you have some patience, I'll work on my skating before and after practice, and I'll become better. But I'll guarantee you this: by Christmas time, I'll be the toughest guy in the league. If I'm not, I'll pay for my way home. I'll go home. You'll go home. I said, but I'm not going home. I'll guarantee you that. And then the first game, I would keep telling him, that's the guy. He goes, what? I said, that's their toughest guy. And I go back out and do it. And probably halfway through the year, it's like 3,500, and they're going bananas in North Bay, chanting my name just because they love that. Coach, they love that in small towns. But that was my way in. That was my personality, but that was my way in. Otherwise, I was going back home, and I was going to go to St. X and play hockey and get my degree, and there's nothing wrong with that. That was, tremendous, but that was something I wanted to do, and I wanted to make sure that I give it all I got. So I got a few breaks along the way, and then got a tryout to Calgary, didn't make it, went to Edmonton in Cape Breton, basically a token tryout because I was a local kid from a couple hours away. I got in an exhibition game. I knocked a guy out. And they're like, oh my God, we're going to have to give him another game. I did it again. We had a good scrap. They kept me around because Slats liked me, signed me to the American League deal. And then I ended up going to Chicago after 5 years. And then I signed in Pittsburgh, and I ended up going to Wilkes-Barre. I was done with you guys with Philadelphia, which was a great 3 or 4 months. And I signed there, and it was a new team. It only got developed in the end of July. But I went there. I told my wife I'm going to Wilkes-Barre, and we have first 9 games are on the road. And I would get up early as an older guy, have a coffee, and I read the paper. I'm like, and my wife goes, how's it going? I said, I think this is going to be a real nice spot, like unreal. She goes, how do you know? I said, I just get a buzz about this place. I just, there's hockey in Hershey, there's hockey in Binghamton, there's hockey in Philly, there's hockey in New York, there's no hockey here. So, and then the first night was electric, and it was like that for 2-3 years at least, or more. And I was lucky to be a part of it. I was lucky to be one of the first guys and doing what I did. Obviously, the entertainment value and people appreciate the hard work. They do. I think at the end of the day. So pretty fortunate to be, to play in this spot, but playing, I played in Philadelphia in the Spectrum, which was a complete honor. I played in Hershey, I played in all the NHL rinks. I'm fortunate enough to, to be around a long time. And coach can say the same thing. You're fortunate enough to play the game a long time. Pretty lucky.
Riggs, the first thing he said there, where he challenged the bench, I'm shocked.
Yeah, right. Trying to get something going, right?
Just trying to get something going. I'm shocked.
I used to say it to you, Nasty.
I know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Man, that's great.
Yeah. Bones, what do you think drove you? Like, from like as far as you can go back, like to be the character that you are. Is that just like something that was just within you? Because I know like fighting isn't like a natural state, and to fight it that much and to show up every single night is certainly not a natural state. Like, what could you go back on your career and look back and say like, this is what drove me?
Well, I think what drove me was like, you're always on the outside looking in, right? You were always like low percentage of making it. And everyone was, I was never on a team. I got cut from every team. Every year in minor hockey, my first year, my name wasn't on the list. I'd get cut. I'd play house league with 6-8 guys and Saturday mornings on the, worst at 6 a.m.
I was going to say, that's got to be the times.
My dad, you still want to do this? And then I had a tough year in midget where it didn't go great. And then I just always had a bit of a chip on my shoulder, the saying, you know what, I can do this. I know I can do this. Other guys can do it. I can do it. And I was fortunate enough. They always say, John Wooden says, you work hard enough, the luckier you get. And I got lucky. I got lucky in spots that give me an opportunity. I should have been probably home about 8 times, but I just kept kind of knocking the doors down, getting an opportunity, finding the right spot. And then in the middle of my career, I was in Wilkes-Barre and I broke my hand, broke a couple of my fingers on both sides in the year. I had a really tough year. And, and then there was some rumors I didn't really want to do it anymore, which was not the case at all. I had a broken hand my whole year. And then I trained really hard because I was in the middle. I remember in February, I said to my wife in Wilkes-Barre, I said, I think I'm going to go to the rink today. She goes, really? What are you talking about? I said, I think I'm done. I don't really have a zest for it anymore. She goes, oh, no. We're not doing this. You're going to finish the year. I said, which I would have, I just want to talk to her about it. And I said, okay, I'll finish it strong. And then I did that. And then she ended up going back to school, like for a degree, because I wasn't sure if I was going to play another game and I really trained hard. And I just found a zest for it again, where I was like, you know what? I'm right. These people are wrong. I'm right. I can do this. And I can prolong my career. And I was pretty fortunate. I ended up signing in Boston. I had a heck of a year. And then it just kind of invigorated another 6 years of playing pro hockey. And at the end, my knee was bad and my hand, everything was, paid the price. But like I said, for 15 years, I was lucky. I was lucky.
It's a long time, man.
Yeah. And I said to myself, I'm not trying to be, I was like, I have to do the best I can for as long as I can, because if I can't do that, then what am I doing it for?
Right.
I know what I can do, and I had a bad knee, so which makes it worse. I wasn't out there playing. My last year, I think I played 40 games if I was lucky, at home in the division. I never had to bring my gear on the road. I don't think I just played at home in the division. But
wow,
yeah. But I was, life is good. Like I said, I got a great supporting cast. My wife and my kids are great, and so proud. That's my biggest accomplishment is my bride and my 2 kids, no doubt.
That's awesome
for sure.
Yeah, can you just expand a little bit on your last point there? Just because I think like this idea of like resilience and like wanting something so bad, and to say knowing you're gonna find your way, like it's beyond belief, right? It's like I would imagine like as long as you can remember, you had that within you, and I think a lot of guys do. But like you're literally willing to not just scrap your way, but like be the most aggressive scrapper and the most gamer of all time. Like this it's beyond just fighting, like you brought, and just
well,
this idea, like just how could you explain this to a young youth hockey player? Not that it's about fighting anymore.
No,
just like when
not.
you want something so bad, you're willing to just
do Coach, you're right, and you lived it the same way. Don't kid yourself. I know you scrapped a lot, and we did it, but you lived it. You had to figure out how to play the game. You had to figure out what to do to make sure you get some type of regular shift to stay on the team. And I think that's the biggest thing. But at the end of the day, if you weren't scrapping, you had to throw a big hit. You had to make a smart play. You had to all to do the things that made your teammates play with more confidence and be an asset on your squad. And I think that's the biggest thing. I try to tell it to my son now. I don't want him to fight. That's not what I'm after. I don't want anybody to fight. I don't care if you do or you don't. That's not it. But you got to play between the whistles, and you got to play as hard as you can with a motor, win 50-50 pucks, battle as hard as anybody, be big and heavy, all the things that make you successful, and enjoy playing the game. If you work hard, enjoy playing the game, good things will happen somewhere. They just will. And I, a lot of people, Coach, Nasty, they like to participate. Participating is good, but participate is average. You know what I mean? You got to do something different. That's what I say. And even when I scout, the same thing. Give me something different. We can work with that. Same stuff as everybody. Lots of people can do that. What's that give you? It's like vanilla. Lots of that. So, and my son, he's going to go away, played last year junior. I said, listen, bud, give it all you got. Everything you can, bust outside your limitations, do it to the best of your ability, and be able to smile and say, I did the best I can. And if you do, good things will happen. And that's all I tried to do, at the end of the day. I wish I played 500, 600 games in the National Hockey League. I was lucky enough to play 92, one playoff game, and I sat out a lot. But you know what? I'm pretty fortunate to be able to do that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's for sure, man.
Lots to learn from your
but at the end of the day, it's just effort and enthusiasm, and why do something that you don't like?
Right.
I like doing it. I like going to the rink every day. I like being with the guys. I like traveling with the guys. I liked all that stuff. So I knew what my job was. Do your job.
Yep.
Yeah. We talk about that all the time, Bones. Especially when you're finished and I'm out of hockey now too, but you missed that part. You were just saying, like, that's the one thing that always sticks out to me. We talk about it coffee time in the morning with the boys, like you used to come back at the at the rink there and hang out with me, and Riles lived in my office. We've said that a million times, but those are the things you miss. And like you said, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, why are you doing it?
You miss the little more simpler things in life. You miss them.
Yeah.
Nobody enjoyed going to the rink more at 8 o'clock in the morning. What are you here early for? Well, I sit and talk to the trainers. I talk to whoever. And I have a coffee and do a
crossword. Yeah.
Yes, I did do crosswords. I'm smarter than the average bear, but I miss that. I miss jumping on a bus. I miss jumping on a flight. I miss traveling with the guys. But, I was fortunate enough to do that for a long time. And and I'm lucky enough to still be in the game. And I said this to, I think, Scott Mellenby. It doesn't matter use his name. And I said, I love what I do. I love being a part of the game. I've been fortunate enough after hockey, I get into scouting. And if I wake up tomorrow and don't have this job, I will miss it dearly. It's great to say I want more and you want more and everybody wants more. I'm very fortunate for what I got. And hopefully I can convince people for a little more. Yep. And I'm going to keep chewing away and trying to get a little higher up and do the best I can. But at the end of the day, if I can be in this game and continue to be in it for another 20, 25, you pinch yourself. Yep. Pinch myself. And I'm fortunate. There's no doubt.
For sure.
No doubt. You said a couple important things, I think, whether you're a hockey player or just in life, but just like do the thing that excites you. Like if it's exciting you, you should be, pursuing it, right, on some level. And then you said people just participate. And I see this a lot, not even just in youth hockey or hockey, but just people are just kind of standing on the sidelines. They're kind of just like, they're there, but they're like not really in the, they're not really in it. Yeah. And they're not really fully invested in it. There's a big difference, but the excitement and that participation.
I learned that in junior, and I've had that, like, I was there and I was scrapping a lot. And I went to my coach, and like I said, Bert Templeton, and I met with him for 5-10 minutes, and he goes, I knew you were going to come talk to me. I said, well, I haven't played that much, and I've sat out. And he said, just do your job. If you do your job, that's the biggest thing. That's what we're after. If everybody does their job, we're a better team. And he goes, I said, okay, perfect. And I ended up talking to our captain, Jake Brahowski, just to kind of pick everybody's brain. And he goes to me, he said, Dennis, what you do is you're not a great skater. You're not a great defenseman. You're not going to score 30 goals. What you do is you can really scrap. You understand the game. You're improving all the time, but you can really scrap. He said, at the time, Ty Domi was in maybe Winnipeg or Toronto. And he goes, do you like Ty Domi? I said, yeah, awesome. I look up to him. He's doing what I would love to do. He said, then give yourself every opportunity to get that opportunity. And he said, by doing that is by doing your job and improving every day and enjoying what you do. And if you do that, then you give yourself a chance. Smallest chance, middle chance, it all depends. And he was right. And so I've got some good advice along the way that you kind of stick with, right? Whatever you do it to the best of your ability. So when somebody says you can't do it anymore, maybe there's another opportunity, but at least you can look yourself in the mirror and smile and say, you know what, I did the best I can. I had a heck of a ride doing it.
Yeah.
And I say that to people now, because you're scouting and I'm like, where do you see this anymore? He's not the prettiest player, but he's big and he's heavy and he's competitive and he's got a really good motor. Like he's not the most skilled, but he's an asset because you never see it anymore, or whatever it is. You want something different is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So important. Can you speak to what you're doing now and how you'll be able to carry over a lot of what you've learned into your role as head of scouting for the Boston Bruins? Because it's looking at the game a different perspective for sure.
100%. I consider myself fortunate, obviously, to be part of the game again. But like when I played, I was a defenseman. The first couple of years pro, I was a defenseman. I'll tell you about that in a second. And then I switched to forward. And I think that has been really beneficial because you understand the game, right? You see it, you understand it. Obviously, I had times where I played a lot, other times I didn't play that much. So when you're not sitting there, when you're sitting there, you have to understand the game because if you don't understand it, you can't go out and make a mistake, right, coach? You got to go out, get the puck out. You got to understand where it's going. You got to anticipate. You got to do all the things that's going to give you another shift. So I understand the game. I understand what guys are going through, trying to get a little more, trying to get an opportunity. And you kind of go with your heart. As much as you see it, you got to go with your heart sometimes. Just say, you know what, I've seen this guy play well a year and a half ago. Maybe it's just not right for him. I do my research on networking and people, but just maybe it's just not the right fit here. But I've seen this guy do it. I know he can do it. So why can't he come to us in this situation and do it for us? And I think that's what you got to. I've seen guys play 5 bad games in a row, but 6 months before that, they were really good.
Yeah.
So if they were really good, it's not potential anymore. It's they can do it. It's right there for them. So I said, you put a lot of that. I think it's a lot of common sense type stuff at the end of the day. You just kind of, you got your belief in somebody that he can help you in some aspect and you go to bat for him. That's all you do. But I was talking about, you remember Bob McCammon? He worked for Vancouver. He was funny. KG was funny.
Yeah.
So I go down. I was in Cape Breton and playing defense. It was a Friday and a Saturday. He comes down from Edmonton, right? He's like a development guy, but he's assistant coach and a scout, doing a little bit of everything. So I had a good game on Friday, good game on Saturday where I played tough. I probably scrapped, threw some hits, was playing mean, whatever I was doing on defense as a right defenseman. So he met with me on Saturday night. He goes, boy, I really like the way you play. You got to work on your feet, but you got a chance as a tough 6'7" defenseman in the National Hockey League, but you really got to work on your feet and your game. But I like what you bring to the rink. So I call my parents after, and I'm like, man, I had a good meeting with a guy from Edmonton. He really believes in me. It's going to be awesome. I got to really work hard. Had a good time on Saturday night. Sunday was off. I come in on Monday morning. I was playing forward. I'm sure he went in after. He goes, this guy doesn't play another game on the fence. Put him up front. I don't think I played defense again. I'm like, I was going to be a defenseman.
Riles, Bob McCammon was good friends. My dad worked with KG. He was with KG in Maine, and
so funny.
He was the guy, Riles. I don't know if you remember me telling you this. Was when Brownie got called up. Dave Brown gets called up from Mariners up to the Flyers. He hasn't gotten a shift, the whole night. I guess it's the third period, and I think we might have even talked about this when we had Brownie on. But KG's coaching, and Brownie's like, he's just sitting on the bench, and someone lines up. He goes, "Hey man, if I ever get out there, I'm going to fucking kill you. And everyone's like looking at, Bob McCabe, and he goes, get out there, Brownie. And everyone's like, yeah. But that was the coach,
Well, okay. Riles, as you know, that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to speak up and say, if I ever get out there, that's at the end of my career. That's at the end of my career. I'd be yelling at guys and giving them shit. I'm like, you're this. He goes, you're never getting out here. And I'm like, you're right. I sat back down. I'm like 34 on one leg. Yeah. You're right. It's the middle of the third. There is no chance I'm getting out. Maybe I'll get you in a couple months' time we play it.
Oh, man,
that's so funny.
Yeah, my dad has some great stories about Cage. Obviously, I remember him when I was a kid. We all should write a book, man. There's some stuff. Man. They wouldn't believe it. Crazy stuff. That's the truth.
Funny. Play with a lot of good people, a lot of good humans, man. Funny.
Yeah. The Bones, with what you're doing now, obviously, super important job, and we've had some other guys that are scouts on. But right now, obviously, the Florida Panthers. I mean, that's what everyone's looking at. It's funny how things go. But even back when Chief won in St. Louis, he was. I remember just talking to him. I was still working at the time, but he's like, you gotta be a heavy team, to win. And like you were saying before about playing hard, but man, Florida, that's what everyone's like shooting for right now. It seems anyway, with maybe getting size but just the way they play. Just the way they play nightly.
Listen, I think the world of you, D. But after you thrown that jab about St. Louis beating the Bruins,
sorry, Game 7. It wasn't a jab, but both teams played that way. I mean, it was a great series, man. It was
great. Yeah, it could have went either way. But I'll tell you what, the biggest difference is Chief got the most out of some of those guys in the bottom six, right? Not that we didn't, we did. It could have went either way. I really could have, and it probably played them another 100 times in Game 7. Who knows? We would have on the right side of it, I believe. But he's right. You got to be big. You got to be heavy, and that's what Florida is. That's what if you can get yourself in the playoffs, then it's a different season. We all know that, right? They're a good team. They're a very good team, but they play a certain style. They all kind of play a certain style. Yeah. Even Barkov is not, but he's big and he's heavy and he's hard to, and that's just hard to play against for a long series. It just is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You're right.
They get the goaltending. Their defense has been solid. Really, it's been way more than solid, but solid. And their forwards play a certain way. So, credit to them.
Yeah.
Everybody's striving to be them now. And I get it, and the Bruins will get back there. They will. I believe that.
Yeah, I believe you. I'm
sure the Flyers want to do the same thing. You need skill, you need ability, but that's if the Bruins and Flyers can play the way, we'll be a hard out, both of us, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. And back to that series, the game 7 in Boston, I felt like that game changed. Bennington made a save with his toe. He got over. Someone had a great chance, and then they went down and scored. It may have even been Braden Shen. I can't remember, but it should have been 1-1.
I looked down. I looked down, and we were out shooting. I don't know what it was. I'm saying 15-2. It might not have been that. And Bennington was like, the puck was hitting him. He was making, but they were hitting him, and I'm like, oh my God. And they come down and score. It was like the air come right out of the balloon. Right?
Exactly.
It was like, I'm like, this isn't happening.
Right.
And then it was a bad late in the first. It was a bad, things happened. It was 2-0. But it was real weird. But we came out doing all the right things. It just, we had got one, the gates would have opened. It just didn't open.
It's hockey, right?
That's hockey.
It's the game.
Shouldn't, but it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. The Flyers, Danny Briere, obviously the GM now, is doing a great job, and his draft this year, you see a lot more size. But we were, we went over to development camp for the podcast and stuff, and not only these guys big these days, Bones, but they can move, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And when you can ever find guys that are above average skill, can skate, and are competitive.
Right.
Home runs. They're all, it's just hard to find them, right? You got to find certain guys that play a certain way and have a certain demeanor about them, a certain mindset. And that's not easy to find. It used to be not easy to find, but you could find it. They were out there, right, Coach? Right. You had all the guys that kind of played a certain way and played mean and played heavy. But when you can't do that at the junior level, it somehow gets eliminated a lot of times, right? It just does, because it's not cultivated. It's not harvested. It's because you're allowed not to play that way, right? And I can say that to my son. I can say to certain guys, well, I don't want to take a penalty, right? We really didn't worry about that because we needed to play a certain way. Nobody wants to take a penalty, but you play big and heavy and finish checks and all that stuff. Well, they don't do that now because it's so much skill and so much pace. And if you take a penalty, then a lot of coaches don't really want that type, they don't want that type of player. So when you see that to finish it, it's refreshing, right? You're like, man, I really like that big, heavy, competitive guy.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Your thoughts on like the overall direction that the game has gone? Obviously, high skilled as we're talking about. I feel like you went from like different phases of skill. Now bigger guys with skill, up and down the ice can move. Obviously, the fighting is a thing of the past, but the heart and everything we're talking about, the heaviness is always going to be like the essence of hockey. But what are your overall thoughts on just the way where the game is at today?
Well, I get that question a lot, and obviously I work for the Boston Bruins. I work for the National Hockey League, so I respect that, and I'm honored to be a part of that. But and I fought more than anybody, Coach. You know this. I keep saying that, and stage fight and all the stuff we did and how we did it. I believe stage should be out. I get it, but at the end of the day, I don't like when I don't think the compete is in the game.
Right.
It should be physicality and it should be hard, and you should be playing in guys' faces, and you should be allowed to battle a little more between the whistles.
Yep.
And I think if you do that, then maybe fights happen, maybe things happen, but certainly not as much, but the energy level is a lot higher,
Right.
And I hope that makes sense.
It does.
I believe the skating, I believe the skill, I believe all that, but you shouldn't be playing the game thinking you're not supposed to get hit or shouldn't get hit.
Right.
I don't think that's the way we should have it. But I love the way it's trending, obviously, because it's fast and it's skilled and all that. But I really don't want to lose to compete.
Right. Hey, I go back a lot, and I know it was this year, but we've talked about this so many times. Basically, we're blue in the face. But the Four Nations, man, that wasn't. I mean, you could say it was staged. I don't know, but that was for the team. That was for their country. That I was standing up in my cave in the basement. Like, that was one of the greatest things, and it just basically saying echoing what you just said about the compete, and if you get guys battling, it's going to happen. I know that was at the beginning of the game. It's a little different, but man, was that awesome to watch.
But Florida does that,
right?
And credit to them. They're heavy and they're hard and they're in your face and they make it hard for you, so you get frustrated.
Yeah,
things happen off of that. That's what I'm saying the game should be on a consistent basis. That's all. Nothing more than that.
Yep.
And you can't play like that every night, Coach D. You know that. You can't. But most nights when you're playing against top-end teams, you're going to have to play a certain way if you plan on winning the hockey game.
Yep.
Yeah,
so,
no doubt.
Nothing more than that. Stage fights, I get them out. I did them more than anybody. I'm out. I shouldn't happen. But when you're battling, you and I in the corner, and I run you, and I ding this guy, then emotion should get elevated a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, naturally. And the confrontation naturally follows that, right? And whether it's just a staring contest
there's the odd scrap, Coach, and there's the odd scrap. That's going to happen. But I just like to see a little bit of, and fans start yelling at you, and they're like, it should have been a penalty. That's a little bit of what we were all about, grew up with. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you shouldn't go through 2 or 3 periods where it's really quiet. You can hear.
Yeah, I agree.
No, 100%.
That's all. Nothing more than that.
Yeah.
There's too many good players. There's too many competitive players out there. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And we can't forget that you have 3 Stanley Cups with Chicago Blackhawks doing the same job you're doing now. So maybe you want to talk about like the evolution of your job and how this all.
Yeah, I was lucky. I was in Calder Cup 3 times when I played. Finals 3 times. Was on the wrong side of it. I remember telling my dad when we finished because we played the Wolves my last year playoffs, and I said, "Man, I hate saying I'm a loser. I just can't win. I don't know. I can't get over the hump." And he goes, "No." And then I went to Toronto for a year and scouted. And then I went to Chicago. My first year, we won a cup. I was like, man, this is.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Bones.
This is,
Speaking of.
Sorry,
thanks.
Dave. I didn't mean to come back. I really didn't.
Yeah,
and then we won 3 and 6 years, in Chicago, and it was unreal. And Joe Quenneville was unreal, and we had some great teams. Great teams. So it was just an honor to be a part of that and to be part of the runs we had was you kind of pinch yourself. There's no doubt. And now we're striving to do it again with the Boston Bruins, no doubt. I think everybody is, and they should be. But, it's nothing like winning. You know that. Everybody knows that.
Right.
Yeah. You stuck a dagger in us. Don't worry. Riley and I both.
Could
have given us that one. You guys had 2 more after.
Right.
Riley teed you up for that one too. Just throw it back.
I had no say in the matter. I had no say. I was the same way when every game in the playoffs and I finished in my career. I was the same way in scouting. I was up in the stands watching.
Right. That year, I think Riley warmed up every game in the playoffs because he was so important in our room, and Labby's 100%. He was 100%. He warmed up every game, but
the whole year, man. That was I think I think I broke a record for the amount of warm-ups I took that season, man.
I think I went on 2 7-game road trips in the NHL and never played a game. I'm like, why didn't I bring my gear? I love being here, but this is crazy.
Pre-game meal's really good.
Yeah, right.
I get it, man. But it was a pleasure and honor to be a part of it, man.
And sure.
Anytime you can put a jersey on, it's awesome.
I wanted to. We've kept you here an hour, Bones, but I gotta tell this story I heard, and you can confirm it. But I think it was maybe your last regular season game, if I'm not mistaken. You're playing in Scranton, obviously, and Nathan Smith was captain, and they gave you the captaincy for the night. And you scrapped Jay Rosehill, a good buddy of ours, who I had in. Sorry, boys. You scrapped a good buddy of ours, Jay Rosehill. And I guess is a good scrap. And, after the fight, out of respect for you, you raised your arm, like to say, hey, this guy did this for 15 years, man. Yeah. And I just thought that was so cool, man, that happened.
I didn't know if it was going to happen, scrapping and stuff. I didn't really plan it that way. It was my last. I remember going out for warm-up, and I came in, and Nathan stood up, and forever grateful for him. I had tears in my eyes, and because I was captain a couple other places, and I was never captain in Wilkes-Barre, and it was so dear to my heart, and he gave me the C, and I was like, man, that is awesome. That is awesome, man. For one game, that's, I wish I could have been for 5 years, but I wasn't. I get it, and then I went out and had my game, and it was like a few minutes left, and Rosa and I kind of got together, and I said, are we doing this? He goes, you want to do it? I'm like, yeah, might as well finish it right, I guess. But, I didn't say it to him. Don't knock me out.
Yeah, right.
That'd be the worst. I'd be like, oh my God, I got to play again now.
Yeah, right.
I got I'm not ending it this way. So we had a couple. We threw it, and it was, and then he grabbed my hand and put it up, and
that's awesome.
It was a pretty nice moment. It really was, and he ended up playing in Toronto after that. I was part of the scouting staff, so it was all good. It was all good.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I just thought that was so cool. Rosie's such a great
dude, he's a good fella.
He's one of my favorite guys.
He another guy went outside his limitations, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sure. I don't think he did it all the time. Then he started doing it, did well at it, hung in there, saw there was an opportunity, and made the most of it. Right?
He did.
Right. Yep. So good for him. Tremendous.
He is one of the funniest dudes
ever
too, man. Like I just love Rosie. Before I let you go, I do have to bring this up too, because you had some obviously legendary fights, but you and Ryan VandenBussche, you guys, how many times do you think you guys fought? Like, did you guys just fight from when you were kids all the way up?
He was in Cornwall and I was in North Bay, and it was a TV game. So I told my parents, and I told everybody, I said, oh, we're going. If nothing else, I'm like, I never been on TV before that I know, so let's go down here tonight. So we got out, and I said, are we going? He goes, oh, we'll go. And there was no tougher pound for pound.
Right. Yeah.
And a great human being, great guy, did it the right way, all the stuff. So we fought. We had a really good one, and then fought a couple more times in junior, I do believe. And then we in pro, every time we see him, I got called up to Pittsburgh one time. He was in Chicago, so we went at it. Real good scrap. I went into camp one year. Eddie Olchuk was a coach, and I said, Eddie, I might not make this team. I don't think I am. You got 2 guys here on one ways, but when I fight these guys, don't stop it. I'm going to prove I'm the toughest guy in camp, and then you can send me down. He goes, really? I'm like, yep. So I fought both of them, and I think Andre Roy And then he sent me down the next day. And I said, I just wanted to prove I'm the toughest. I'm like, I'm going to Scranton. See you later. And then we ended up fighting. He went to Wilkes-Barre. I think they sent him down, and I was in Hershey. What happened was we fought a couple weeks before that. It was like the start of the third. We were kind of down 2-1. We were lethargic. And Coach, you know what I'm like. I'm like, I can't really let this happen. There's nothing going on. So it's in the bound to play. I said, let's go. And he goes, are you serious? I said, I got to get us going. We're dead. There's nothing. So I got him pretty good. I dinged him with a couple, and he was pretty ticked about it, right? And then so I'm coming in 2 weeks later, and I'm hearing rumblings that he wants to scrap me. And I'm like, it's all good. No problem. So he's looking down the bench waiting for me to come out. And then the whistle blew, and I come out, and then out he came. He goes, are we doing this? I said, oh, yeah, we're doing it. It's no problem. So we fought, and it went long because I would stop it, and I'm like, are we done? You want to, you know what I'm like, Coach? I try to stay in control of the fight. Once I get out there swimming, it's like trouble, right? So I would always stay in control and kind of keep my column in the chamber where I'm like strong, right? So, and then it kept going on and on because he was like, no, we got to keep this going. I'm like, okay. So we just kept chucking them and kept chucking them. I tied up and I get under control again. It just kept. So that's how it went so long. And at the end, I just went over and shook his hand. I said, bud, I don't know if we're ever going to do this again. You're the man. You're the man. You know.
Yeah, Bush.
And it's just respect. I had it for Coates. I had it for all of them, man. You know, I played against Stone Cold, you know, in junior. And then I actually was almost played with them. I ended up playing pro. And then I was fortunate enough, I played with him in Philadelphia with the Phantoms. There's no tougher human being, no better guy. Honestly, people have no idea how tough he was. And then we ended up fighting. I played in Providence. We ended up fighting a couple times. He was in Worcester. So that happens. But when there's respect on both sides, you know, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
for sure,
man.
There's no doubt.
But
the Flyers always had some toughness, man. Whoa. I don't know where you got it, but you got it.
They found it. They
definitely found it.
I used to say I go in there to the Spectrum. I mean, there'd be like 6 guys biting you into the stick waiting to get out and fight you. Like, man.
You and Josh Scranton had a couple just toe to toe, just punching each other in the face. I'm just like, my God. And we always joke with Gratz because he had this. He would go to the box. You hit him 20 times. He'd hit you 20 times. And he'd go and he'd be red. And by the time he got out, he didn't have a mark on his face.
I said to him, this guy. I fought him. And one of the last times I fought him, I was in Wilkes-Barre and he was in Philly. And I cut him. Yeah. You thought I was like, I got him. I finally got him. And like, because you'd hit him, and he'd never mark. Morasti was the same thing. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Like, and when you cut him, he didn't bleed.
I got him pretty good. Never cut. Little noogie. I'm like, whew.
Yeah.
He was unreal.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was tough. I actually saw him. I was at my son Fuser was at a tournament. He was coaching a team from Ontario at the tournament. I saw him.
Oh, okay.
All right. That's a good fella. Good fella.
Yeah, he is.
He played it hard.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, legit.
Yeah, he did.
Total respect.
Sorry for partying.
That's
what he used to always say. He'd end up doing something dumb at night. Sorry for partying. But he's the best, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's awesome, man.
Unreal. Yeah. You had some
Bones.
You guys had some tough guys, man. Unreal.
Oh, yeah. One last thing before we let you go, Bones. Your strategy last maybe 15 minutes of a game, maybe the game's out of control, or you're not going to get another shift as far as accumulating penalty minutes. Do you have any strategy to get extra 10-minute misconduct, telling the ref to F off?
Yeah, well, I'm sure it happened a few times. Ryan McGrattan was the best at it. The end, when he broke my single season record, he had 10 games he never fought. He would just go out at the end and tell him to F off. I'm like,
all right.
I'm getting 10s every time.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you maybe get in a fight, something would happen. You'd say something to the ref, or you'd extend the fight a little bit. So there was always, fight late in the game. He goes, I was on the ref, so that was unnecessary. So, well, give me the 10. I don't care. Whatever you want to give me. I don't really care. I'm done anyway. The game's over for me.
Yeah, exactly.
There was all kinds of ways to do that, but just as long as you got out to do it, that was the key.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say that year in 96, 97 was when I was introduced to Bones. Yeah. And that was the year you had 522 minutes and and also 29 points. I mean, you had 9 goals. I think you had 9 goals that year, 20 helpers in 73 games. But man, you would think that might not get broken, but like you said, Gratz, Gratz ended up.
I played. I was in Hershey. He was in Binghamton, and he would call me every game. The last 20 games after, I'm breaking your record.
God Almighty, man!
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we had fought. He was in. I got traded to Colorado when I was in Hershey, and I was in Binghamton. We played against him there. I think you were in Norfolk on a Wednesday and a Friday, and they played us on a Saturday on the way home. So I'm out there talking to him, and Gratz and I give a hug, and he gives me a hug, and how you doing, buddy? Oh, things are good. It's all good, man. Didn't say nothing about fighting. I get out there first shift, and he goes, "You want to go?" I'm like, "I just talked to you for 20 minutes in the hallway. What are you talking about?" I said, "Okay, well." So we fought. Okay. I dinged him with a couple good ones, kind of stunned him, like kind of surprised him. And then I saw him after the game, and I go, "Why did you want to fight?" He said, "Because I went in the room, and John Paddock, legendary John Paddock, who I love."
Yeah.
Yes.
Too tall.
He's like, "He's not your goddamn friend, Gratz. He's not your friend." So he kind of backdoored him into fighting me. And then 2 weeks later, I go into Binghamton, and he's like, "You want to go?" I said, "Okay, we'll do it again, Gratz, no problem." And I never cut, hardly ever, and we square off, and he leads with a left, which he hasn't done in his career ever, all the fights I've seen him. And he dings me on the eye, right? Just caught me in the right spot. So we had a fight for a while. There was all blood coming down on the side of my face. And it was a good scrap, though. It was good. And he leans over at the end, he hugs me, and he bites my ear, and he goes, "I love you, man."
That's awesome.
I said, "You're something, man."
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah, we had Gratz in studio earlier in the year, and we got to hang out with him for a couple of days. He was here for a few days, and they had these things here called Philly Fight Night. It's Fight Night, right? Called it, and he was a part of the thing with Riley, and
I was supposed to come down and see him. He was calling me, but I had to go for work. I had to see a couple games. But
I wish you could have, man.
Yeah. If you do it again, let me know.
Yeah, and for sure this year, like when you're, I'll reach out because we go, with the pod and things we do. We're at the games all the time, so we gotta loop up here. And
love it. Whatever I can do to help.
It's been too long, man. It's been.
You guys have been too good to me. You're too good to me.
Oh man. But
coach's been beating me up too long. That's enough.
Oh shit. He's a lover now, man. He's a lover.
Man. We all think we're lovers now.
I
never want to do it again.
That's right.
I just walk away. Somebody starts yelling, I'm like, I walk away. I'm like, I'm out.
I know. I hear
well, we haven't been able to calm Frankie the animal Bialowas down though. He's still scrapping in the streets.
He's still loving it.
Snowbanks. This guy.
I do hear the odd story. I'm like, Frankie, let it go, man. Let it go.
Yeah.
Oh man, that guy. He's a beautiful man. But Bones, listen, man, we cannot thank you enough, and it was an honor for us to have you on here, dude. You did it as well as anyone, and for so long. Just a gamer, great human, just a great guy, man, and we appreciate you.
And listen, right back at you guys. I was lucky enough to play as long as I did. I said that enough times, and lucky enough to know you guys and be a part of it, and just try to help the game along and be a part of it. Pretty lucky.
Yeah. Good luck this year. Not against the Flyers.
No, appreciate everything, guys. Love you. Okay.
All right, love you too, brother.
Bones.